It's Movie Reviews and More. It's Friday, October 3rd. We got a packed show today. We got Lynn Elias from Elias Entertainment, Movie Shark the Blue are here. She's got a bunch of movies to talk about. We have Anne McDaniels, who just came in. I'm glad she's came in. She's wearing a Yankees hat, which I hate because I'm a Sox fan.
Oh.
And from Sun Potion, we have Louis D'Angelo. And it's spelled Louis, not Lewis. I like Lewis instead. But we'll go there later.
It's French.
We're going to talk about transformational foods.
Yeah.
And why it's good.
We're going to talk about how we can all feel good.
And we have Jon Fitzgerald calling in from the Hollywood Film Festival, which happens in about 2 weeks. He's the exec director. He wants to really make a change on that, and I look forward to doing that. And he will give us what we want to have. Is good movies and access to people like Sharon Stone and whoever else we get.
That's exactly what you and I want.
Exactly.
But to kick off today, our first Friday in October, we've got some big stuff. And the first movie I'm going to talk about is one I have been waiting months to talk about. It is The Liberator, starring Edgar Ramirez as Simon Bolivar.
That's why.
Yeah. Edgar Ramirez with an open shirt and tousled hair for 2 hours and 15 minutes? Yeah.
Hairless or hairy? Depends on what you're into.
Just mighty fine, no matter how you slice it.
Okay.
The film had its American debut at LA Film Festival. It was supposed to be released earlier in the summer. Then Cohen Media said, no, we're going to push it closer to Academy time. And trust me, this is my number one pick of the year so far. I am beyond in love with this film. It is the story of Simon Bolivar. It is sweeping. It is epic. It is expansive. It is directed by Alberto Arvelo. It is written by Timothy J. Sexton, who did Children of Men. And it stars Edgar. It has a wonderful supporting cast, among them Danny Huston, who is a real standout.
He's pretty good at it.
Danny Huston is you can always count on him. But it is the scope. This covers a 30-year scope in the life of Simon Bolivar. It's a great history lesson for people, too, that weren't paying attention in elementary school when we got to world history in 5th grade. A lot of people don't realize that the country of Bolivia was named in honor of Simon Bolivar. But the film it embodies the iconic figure that Bolivar was, the influence that he had. It really shows you why he was often referred to as the Latin American George Washington. He promoted the ideals of democracy and a republic within Latin America, and he was called the Liberator because he never conquered anybody. He would liberate the people from country to country. Edgar Ramirez is quite simply, he is Simon Bolivar.
He's very, very good, and I love the presence in it.
His presence, he commands the screen, be it from the smallest little nuance and emotion. With his eyes, he can stare you down. He speaks volumes, but he has a stance, a command. And I think a lot of that is also due to the fact his father was in the military. He grew up learning the military life, which is what Bolivar embodied to a large degree. The costumes are stunning. 6,000 costumes.
All in English or subtitles too?
Subtitles. We've got English, we've got subtitles. Great. But it's shot 35 millimeter. It is widescreen. Cinematographer is Xavi Jimenez. I fully expect to see Oscar nomination coming through for him. An Oscar nomination probably for costuming. 69-day shoot. 2 different continents, $50 million budget, the biggest in the history of Latin American film.
Wow.
And in a surprise move, typically once you get outside the United States, the government likes to promote the arts. Hint, hint. However, with this particular film, there is no government money. Venezuela did not fund this at all. People were so bowled over with the concept, with the script, that this is all privately financed, which is a huge thing coming out of Latin America. Mm. And we have here, I had a chance to talk to Edgar. I had a chance to talk to Edgar a lot this summer. We've got a clip that our wonderful engineer Brian is going to roll for us now. Edgar Ramirez talking about playing Simon Bolivar.
my performance and myself in that poster is just the tip of a beautiful iceberg. There is the amount of effort that an amazing team put into this movie. It's the result of all those efforts. I mean, the costume design that is exquisite, and the production design, and the writer, and of course the cinematography is splendid and exquisite, and of course the sensitivity that Beto put into it. Beto is Alberto, the director, who put into it. It is, as you said. It was very for us. The entire goal was to try to capture the human essence that could have existed behind the mythical figure, the myth that Bolivar and so many of that kind of men history tend to turn into. These unidimensional characters, with only one face and only one layer, and which is a natural result of a history, of the patina of history. And as a filmmakers, what you try to do is to explore the human being that could have existed behind, the man on the statue in the middle of the Bolivar Square, Washington Square, or any square of an important historic figure in the world. And then that's where we put our focus on. I tried to read as many biographies as I could, and as many documents as I could, in order to understand especially the political, social, and philosophical context in which Bolivar shaped his worldviews. It was very important to me to understand the spirit of time, the zeitgeist that surrounded Bolivar when he was when his worldviews were being modeled in order to become the world leader and the political and military leader that he ended up becoming. And then all that analysis and all that introspection I tried to pour into the character that Timothy Saxton so amazingly wrote. I mean, a multi-layered character, multi-dimensional, full of inner conflicts and contradictions, which is what makes us all humans.
So, if listening to Edgar Ramirez isn't reason enough to go see this movie, I don't know what is. And the icing on the cake with it is Gustavo Dudamel does the score, which is luxurious, it is sweeping, it matches the visual tone perfectly. And this is my number one pick of the year so far. And I don't see anything coming along that's really going to knock it out of my number one slot, just on the grand scale. It's on a scale of D.W. Griffith, Birth of a Nation, Spielberg with Lincoln or Saving Private Ryan,
yeah. Especially those fight scenes in there,
and throwing in some Cecil B. DeMille. This is the real deal. It is the full package.
Any romantic undertones?
Yes, there are.
Great.
Because what's interesting in the history of Simón Bolívar, and he was very public about it in his writings and over the years when he served as president of the Grand Republic, after he had liberated all of these countries and created the republic that he had always dreamed of, he always said that he had one true love in his life, Maria Theresa, whom he married very young. 8 months after they were married, she died of yellow fever. And it was following her death that his entire life spun around, from being this aristocratic young man with a family fortune and plantations in South America to becoming educated and learning about the ways of the world and politics and philosophy with tutelage and mentorship of people in Paris.
Wow.
That then sent him back home to put those ideals in place. And Bolivar had always said that were it not for Maria Theresa and her passing, life may have changed. The world may not be what we know it as today.
Wow.
So on many, many levels, this film encompasses everything. It is really a man and his life and his legacy. Now we've got a lighter tone here for the kids out there and the kids in all of us. The Hero of Color City. An adorable film, primarily for the younger set, but hey, it's all about crayons, and who doesn't love a box of Crayola 64s?
And the smell of crayons.
Okay. Lovely little film group in Venice, California, Exodus Film Group, put together this film. It directed by Frank Gladstone. It is all CG, but it celebrates color. There are bright colors, neon colors, black and white scribbled drawings of characters that come to life that just want to be colored in. All the crayons, they belong to a little boy named Ben. And when Ben goes to sleep at night, his crayons come to life and they jump back in their box and they travel to Color City. And these are their adventures. And one of the crayons, Yellow, who is voiced by Christina Ricci and is everything you would think a yellow crayon is. Happy, bright, sunny, happy, but a scaredy cat. She gets separated from the rest of her fellow crayons and must make her way on her own into Color City. Wow. But then we have things happening in Color City with some drawings that were not properly attended to and did not get color. And because one of them, King Skrull, Ben forgot to draw him a mouth, so he can't talk. So everybody thinks he's mean as opposed to being kind. So it's misinterpretation. There are a lot of fun little messaging elements there at a kid level. Just beautifully, beautifully done. A lot of the drawings are done in the same vein as the illustrations in Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Oh.
So you get those very strong lines.
And Debbie, do we see judgment based on color with the crayons?
No.
No.
And every color speaks to something. Everything. The green color looks like a box of 3M Scotch tape with black and green plaid. Very identifiable touchstones. The gray crayon is just that, gray, and the voicing matches it. The red crayon, which is voiced by Rosie Perez, you can just imagine. That's
sexy.
And red is hot and spicy.
Love it.
Even in a kid's film. The pink crayon is absolutely adorable, and any classic movie fan out there will see the pink crayon and the scenes involving her, and you're going to think of Kay Thompson, think Pink, Audrey Hepburn, and Funny Face. So there is something. One of my favorites, though, I got to say it, is our heliotrope crayon, who is a professor who lives in Color City. And, well, let's just say that Jerry Lewis and the Nutty Professor live on with a new generation.
Wow.
It is it's fun. Just fun. You've got Owen Wilson coming in to voice a dinosaur.
Interesting.
The voice casting is amazing. You've got Christina Ricci, you've got Craig Ferguson, you've got Rosie Perez, you've got Wayne Brady, you've got Sean Astin, who's a little bumblebee. Just absolutely phenomenal. But the color and the animation is beautiful. It is eye-popping. It is slick. It is clean. And I wanted to go home and start coloring as soon as I saw the movie.
Oh, wow. I love that. And the name again of that
is
one.
the hero of Color City.
I love Color City. My mom's an art teacher. I'm going to have her show the kids that.
Oh, that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And, who knows? Maybe they'll even want to do like private screenings for schools or something.
Sure.
And it's it's Exodus Film Group in Venice, California.
Right. And it's PG.
It's a G.
Okay. Wow. So very, very low.
Very low. But and there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek dialogue so that adults will stay intrigued.
Appreciate it.
But, it's the kind of film you just want to get away. Our wonderful videographer, Lydia, has been having a bad week. It's the kind of movie that I would tell Lydia to go see.
No more Walking Dead, Lydia. You got to see this one.
Because it will cheer her up and make her very, very happy. Because that's how you feel. You feel happy when you leave. The music is a bit infantile, but then we're used to Disney and now Frozen, and I'm sorry, we just have to just let it go and ignore the music in here and just concentrate.
Now, does Miss Yellow gain some balls and find her way back?
I'm not telling.
Gotta see it for yourself.
You gotta see it for yourself.
Is there aqua green, color purple in there anywhere? I mean, those are my colors. That's colors that I like.
There are aqua color. There is every color of the rainbow in there, and particularly stand out visually is the multicolored rainbow and the rainbow river, which looks like those great aquarium stalagmites and mountains you put in there that are like every neon color run together.
It's like Willy Wonka-ish.
It's gorgeous.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Great.
So it is a fun film. And I know it's going to hit DVD by the holidays.
What'd you color when you got home?
I actually did get out my coloring book, and I colored something in purple and red.
Oh, those are your favorite colors. Still a little Rosie Perez in her.
And moving on from the younger set and the youngster in all of us, or at least some of us, two of us I can think of right now.
Absolutely.
Is an absolute joy. I am so thrilled to get to talk about this film now. It's a film, a television film, and a new series. It is Star Wars Rebels. It is the first venture between Walt Disney Animation Studios and Lucasfilm. It kicks off tonight on the Disney XD channel with Star Wars Rebels, the Rebellion movie. Starting next Friday night, it kicks into a series. And it was just announced yesterday, they have already signed on for a second year of the series. And trust me, after seeing just one episode and seeing the movie, I would have signed it for 5 years. This is amazing. It takes place during that time period between the ending of Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars A New Hope. The characters are reminiscent of so many of the characters we've come to know and love. We've got Kanan, who is voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr., he's really the head of, you all remember Princess Leia and Alderaan and the Rebellion. Well, now we've got the Ghost team. And Kanan has followed Obi-Wan's directions after Sith of going undercover. All the Jedi must hide, but you still have to fight the Empire. So he's heading up this team of ghost pirates. We've got Tia Sircar, who voices Sabine. She is a graffiti tagger and explosives expert. Vanessa Marshall is Hera. She has green tentacles as horns and ears, and she's a pilot, and she's very mothering to everybody. Taylor Gray jumps in here as Ezra, and he is a little man. He is a man on the move. He brings a lot of the characteristics of Luke Skywalker to the character of Ezra. Then we have a dear man, Steve Blum, who does a kind of Wookiee-looking Zeb. Steve is actually, and he will be joining us at some point in the future to talk about voice work. He actually holds the Guinness Book of World Records for doing the most voice work.
Wow, good for him.
In 2012.
I think I know that guy.
Exec produced by Dave Filoni, who worked directly with George Lucas. So everything is preserved. The whole mythology continues. There are touchstones to everything. Yes, there are touchstones to Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Which, that was all I needed to see. But we've got during the press day for this, I had a chance to ask all the cast members about the favorite traits of their characters. But more importantly, I got to ask Freddie Prinze Jr., who many of you may know is married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. Well, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Kanan the Jedi Knight. Who wins the battle? Here's what Freddie had to say.
For Freddie, who would win the battle of Kanan versus Buffy?
Can we go there first?
Well, it's a tough question. Tough question. Buffy has probably more experience in battle than Kanan does in their careers, but she doesn't have the Force, so that's So, and I think Sarah, at the end of the day, would probably have to agree. I mean, we can fight and see it. But I say probably Kanan. The Force sort of trumps all. Superman doesn't mess with Jedi.
You once said something that I really liked, if you don't mind me repeating it. He said, Buffy might be international, but Star Wars is intergalactic.
So needless to say, this is a smackdown that everybody's waiting to see. So maybe as the series progresses, we'll get Freddie and Sarah somewhere, and we'll let them battle this. I hear the music. We're going to a commercial.
And we love Freddie. What a great clip that was, actually.
Yeah. Good question.
Thank you. I try.
No, here's the whole thing. People don't know this. She has a certain spot that she sits at. She gets her one-on-ones. If she's not getting them, you know what? She's not going to be there. And let me tell you, you want Debbie Lynn Elias to be there. That's all I'm going to say. This is Movie Reviews and More. We'll be right back. Coming on the phone next will be Jon Fitzgerald, Executive Director of the Hollywood Film Festival. Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more. And on the line will be the executive director, Jon Fitzgerald, for the Hollywood Film Festival. Jon, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, good to see you and hear you. Hey, all right, so what do you got coming up? We talked earlier, about a week and a half ago, about changes to the Hollywood Film Festival. What kind of changes are there? And the other thing is I have Debbie Lynn Elias here from Elias Entertainment. She's going to be coming too, so...
Oh, wonderful.
Brian and I are partners in crime. What can I say?
Yes. And Anne will probably be doing there, based on her schedule, some red carpet interviews.
Love to meet you, Jon. Thank you.
Yes, I look forward to having you as our guest on the red carpet.
Appreciate it.
And this is important because you really want to make a lot of changes there.
Yeah, we're excited about the new look of the festival. It's really time for us to recognize the power of film to create change. And Seneca has acquired the film festival in order to really anchor it in social impact films.
So now, Jon, so that all of our listeners can find out about it, when is the festival and where is it being held and where can they get their tickets and passes?
The festival is October 16th through the 19th, and tickets are available now. HollywoodFilmFestival.com has a link to the ticketing. The festival will take place at the Arclight in Hollywood, and all the information is on our website.
And the fact that the Arclight is very important because the screening venues are wonderful. The projection equipment, they've got state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line. Plus, they got lots of places to eat there when people get hungry.
And they have caramel corn. Heated or non-heated?
Yeah, it's a great venue, and we're also going to have a hospitality suite there.
Jon, are all the events listed on the website as well? The after events?
Most of the events are, we posted the opening night gala and the closing night gala. All the film presentations are there. We're doing a number of special presentations around causes, from human trafficking to the water crisis, music and the mind to homelessness. So I urge listeners to check out the presentations because they really are special.
Great.
I've seen some good documentaries you got lined up there. You were just talking about water, which I think is really, really important. That's Sharon Stone exec produced that one?
Yeah, she executive produced My Name is Water, which plays twice in the festival, and in fact it's one of our opening night films. We have 3 films playing in the opening night slot. Rather unique situation because we are on 3 screens at the Arclight. So we have Pancakes, a world premiere there, foreign film, Becoming Bulletproof, made by some local filmmakers, amazing documentary with some disabled and mentally challenged folks actually shooting a movie. It's amazing. Wow. And yes, My Name is Water, executive produced by Sharon Stone, who will be joining us on the red carpet. All those films in the primetime slot at the Arclight, October 16th.
So what are some of the other, what are some of your favorites for people that might want to see a narrative as opposed to documentaries?
Narrative is interesting because most people think of social impact movies as documentary, and we've got some really powerful films that are narratives that do broach social impact issues. One of them is called Sold, which is about human trafficking. Very potent film, and that's playing in the narrative section. Another film that played South by Southwest earlier in the year called Sequoia is a really interesting movie that also has a cause at its core. Noble is an amazing film by a British filmmaker playing in the festival. Those are some highlights.
Hey, Jon, I actually, I can't let you get out of here without asking, what were some of your favorite films when you were growing up? What got you into films?
It's funny. I was a big fan of the kind of the classic musicals. I liked Singing in the Rain.
My favorite.
I liked The Wizard of Oz. But what's interesting about my pursuing film as a career is that stumbled into it based on a personal experience and a therapist telling me I should write a screenplay because it was so crazy. So I took an intro to film class at UCSB, and one of our first assignments was breaking down the opening sequence of a Hitchcock movie, and it totally blew my mind. And I thought of this as a amazing combination of all the arts. And so then I saw Citizen Kane, which completely changed and rocked my world. So that's kind of how I ended up in this crazy business.
Well, I got to ask you, Jon. You named Citizen Kane, which is a seminal film, but another one that gets so overlooked by Orson Welles is Magnificent Ambersons.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. I love that movie, and in fact, I took a class on the aesthetic of sound. And we broke down Ambersons because of the way he incorporated sound in that film. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. But it was Citizen Kane that really rocked me, and it's one of those movies that I have to see once a year just to kind of keep me grounded.
Well, now with your love of film festivals and films and the influence classic films had on you, can we expect to see you popping around at the TCM Film Festival in March?
I was in there this year. I didn't hear about it, to be honest with you. I just stumbled in because we were thinking about using the venue for the film festival here in the fall. But, I absolutely should be.
Well, they just announced the dates yesterday, March 26th through 29th. Home base is Hollywood Roosevelt again, and all the screenings will be at the Man, at the Chinese, and down the Egyptian and all. So your butt better be in the seats there come March.
I'll be there. Count me in.
Thanks, Jon. Give the website again so people go and purchase tickets, obviously. This is very, very important. I know you want to make a big, lasting impression on this, though.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. HollywoodFilmFestival.com.
And the dates again?
October 16 through the 19th. And also, I'll just throw in there, we have a really interesting Celebrate Hollywood section, which pays tribute to films that were shot here and or reference show business. So it's a lot of fun. So come check it out.
Great.
Thanks, Jon. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
I'll see
Jon.
you
Look forward to
soon.
meeting you, Jon. Thank you.
Thanks. I enjoyed it. Come see us.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Hollywood Film Festival, count us in.
We love film festivals. It's important to get out there to support them no matter what.
Yeah, and the fact that you can experience so many new films even before they get into the mainstream. There are a lot of films that I've seen in festivals over the years that I have touted from the beginning, pushing them for distributors, and they have gotten them. It's
fun to do that. Plus, it's it's a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker. You would know better than me. Going around and just getting the movie in a film festival, going to film festival after film festival, just trying to get those buyers, getting people, and you got the audience there, and then just trying to convince studio heads who just don't get it sometimes. That's frustrating.
It's extremely frustrating, and also getting films into the hands of press that so many, they're only worried about how many clicks and hits they're going to get on their website.
Social media.
And
money behind it.
What's in it for them?
Mm-hmm.
And Brian and I talked about this last week. For me, it's all about the listeners, the readers, the moviegoers, and the filmmakers.
Sure.
Because we don't have an Orson Welles anymore. We don't have a Max Steiner. We don't have a D.W. Griffith. Somebody has to fill those shoes at some point. Steven Spielberg's not going to be here forever as much as we'd like him to be.
No, and that's the problem. There's not a lot of people coming up. There's no one coming up to follow you. I don't see any minorities coming behind me, and I'm looking, and I don't even care, but I'm looking, and there's no one. That's sad. You've got all these actors out there doing things, but you don't really have anybody coming up who knows
to support them.
Yeah, really, really sad. Let's go into Annabelle real quick.
Well, yeah. Speaking of, directors up and coming, James Wan.
We like James. Talk about someone who started and you followed his career.
And that is definitely James Wan, the man behind Insidious, and wrote that, went on to direct Insidious.
He was at Newsreaders too, I think.
Oh, really?
I mean, he did The Conjuring last year, but this year he's producing, and
she's excited.
Oh, my stomach, I can jump out of my chair. I'm so excited.
Well, if James Wan's name is attached to something, it's gonna scare the bejeebus out of you. You're gonna love it. Following up on The Conjuring, last year we now have Annabelle, a doll that a nice young man buys for his pregnant wife and unborn child. Let's break them in early. Let's get those vintage dolls.
There's nothing
Expose
scary
them.
about vintage dolls.
But of course, then you suffer a home invasion, which just happens to be a home invasion by a satanic cult.
Lovely.
And more conjuring goes on. And then we find out all about
The doll.
Annabelle. This is, it's just amazing. John Leonetti. What I love about guys like James Wan, Ty West, they work as a collective together, and then they go up in the ranks. They move up from within.
And they really like what they do.
Yeah, much like Leica does. They have guys that start as animators, and then they bring them up to direct and to helm storylines. This is what's happened here. James Wan, he started writing. He then moved into directing Insidious 2 and Conjuring. Now John Leonetti, who was the cinematographer for Conjuring 2 and Insidious, he's now directing Annabelle. So he knows the aesthetic, he knows the look, but he gets to call the shots. So it will creep you out. It will scare you to death. Everybody needs to see a good horror movie. We are in October. We're getting ready for Halloween.
This
Excellent.
is true.
Now, Debbie, is Annabelle was at the end of The Conjuring, correct? That was the last scene of that movie.
Well,
which led us to Annabelle?
Well, we're not telling for people that haven't seen. They need to see Conjuring and Annabelle.
No problem.
But then we have a superb movie, probably the best performance of Ben Affleck's career, Gone Girl, adapted from the bestseller by Gillian Flynn, does the screenplay as well. So you have that great continuity there. However, fans of the book, there are some things that are twisted because of cinematic needs. Don't get upset though, because it all works out and it's very dense, it's very intricate, twists and turns. For those that don't know the story, Nick and Amy are seemingly very happy, and then Amy disappears, and everybody points a finger at Nick. And the facade of a happy couple starts falling apart, and then things start shaking out. You've got some MacGuffins and red herrings. It is fascinating. You've got Tyler Perry, not dressed as Medea. He is playing
the lawyer.
He's
right?
playing the lawyer. He plays Tanner Bolt, Ben Affleck, Nick's attorney. Rosamund Pike, who's really stepping up her game. We first saw Rosamund a few years ago in a Woody Allen movie for the first, when American audiences really started to see her. And she does a great job as Amy. Rosamund has this great look about her that she can walk that line between manipulation and truth. And it works to her advantage here. We also got Missy Pyle and a longtime favorite of mine, Celia Ward, pop up.
I love them.
Yeah,
I love them both,
great.
though. I love Celia and Missy.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen Celia for a while.
I know. So to see her back on the big screen, this is terrific. Directed by David Fincher. We all know him from Panic Room, Benjamin Button,
Seven.
Dragon Tattoos,
Yep.
Seven, Social Network. Amazing film. It truly is the embodiment of a classic film noir whodunit. And, you will be on the edge of your seat trying to figure out who done it and where's Amy.
I saw an interview with Tyler Perry on the Today Show, and he said he really studied Johnny Cochran. Did you see a lot of that character coming through?
Do not get me started on Johnny Cochran.
Okay.
I knew the man.
Oh, you did?
I knew the man. I spent 27 years in law, so.
Oh,
So-
interesting.
With this, you know what? Let's jump over to Lewis. He's been sitting here patiently.
Oh, it's so fun.
Potion.
So patient. You must. What concoction are you taking? To be
Yeah.
Talk about Sun Potion, because Scott was going to be here. He's at a convention in Santa Barbara, which is good. You're happy to be here. I'm actually using some of this. I've been drinking it today, obviously, so talk about it. What's so good about it?
Sun Potion, it's an amazing thing. It's a collection of different herbs and plants, and the plants are inspiring. They've actually really inspired the whole company because of their ability to just empower us and feel good. It's pretty fun. So the idea behind the company is just to feel good. We want everybody to feel amazing. We eat the foods, we feel really good, and it's kind of just a process of sharing that. And the grounding feature of it is what's called tonic herbalism, which has really been around for centuries, eons. Who knows how far back it goes. Tonic herbalism is about balancing the body through the use of plants that are not medicinal, but actually tonic, which would mean really balancing. I mean, I think of it as dual directional. And when I say dual directional, an easy way to frame that is coffee or caffeine is one directional. The more coffee you have, the more active and hyper you get. So if you're drinking 32 cups of coffee a day, you're going to be through the roof. With tonic herbs, if you have, a handful of cups of tea with these herbs in them, or even in your coffee once a day, whatever you like to do, but the tonic herbs are going to be dual directional, so they're going to balance you. If you're up, they're going to bring you down. If you're down, they're going to bring you up. They're going to make you strong and centered.
Well, here's an example. I've been taking this. What is this? The pine pollen. I'm not your average black guy, for one. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm not diabetic. I'm not married. Don't have any kids, so I don't have any of that stress. None of that garbage. Yeah, none of that stuff. So I've been taking this because, and I don't take pills, but I should be taking something so to get more vitamin B in, for one. What happens when we sit a lot? You got to get up. So if I'm watching a bad movie, I get ho-hum. So I start doing exercises like this and lifting up and doing all kinds of stuff like that. How good is this for me to take for someone who does not get sick? I'll get run down from doing so much stuff, but I don't know what to do because I don't have a bad immune system.
Yeah.
So I'm suspicious of stuff like that. However, I do like what I've been taking. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Why do you like what you're taking? Well, it's great because it's not just for people who really need a lot of help. It's for people who are already feeling pretty good and want to feel even better. It's like the next level. And that's what it's all about. The pine pollen in particular is known to unite the body into one, to integrate all the body systems so that you will not get worn out anymore. So you take it longer and longer over time, you'll find that there's no more getting worn out. There's no more feeling tired in the morning. There's you wake up and you're like, boom, let's go. 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker. I just get up and go. So,
so yeah.
It's so good for me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people relate it to coffee because it's something you can have every day. It's something that you'll feel an effect from. But it's not going to be so much of an instant energy thing. It's much more grounding than that. It's more like you enjoy some sun potion, be it the pine pollen or the reishi or any of the 25 different products, and you'll feel more grounded, you'll feel more centered. Oftentimes you'll just feel better. It's seems cliche, but it's kind of true. You just feel good in the body, and from there a whole host of things happen. Stress starts to disappear, and without the stress you have stronger immune system, and with the stronger immunity and the stress, you start to people start to lose weight, or they start to gain weight, whatever it needs to be to balance them out. People start to have effectives and all sorts of different
Well,
parts
how
of their
about
life.
someone like Anne who's always on the go, who's always traveling?
And a little ADHD. What do you recommend for that?
Oh, wow. The
And you
reishi mushroom.
And you can't sleep.
At all.
The reishi
At
mushroom.
all.
The reishi mushroom.
Okay.
Centering. It's traditionally taken before meditation. It's a way to connect the body to the higher level of awareness that'll kind of remove you from that, I can't sleep, there's 700 things to think about because tomorrow I have 700 things to do.
Right.
I'm tired, but I just want to think about it. I mean, I know what you mean. I do that all the time.
Sure.
For me, the reishi mushroom is something that I feel immediately. My shoulders relax. My mental chatter kind of it's like turning down the radio volume just a little bit. And then suddenly it's quiet, static, so to speak.
But you don't lose your edge. That's
No.
concerning.
It's like everything just kind of comes in, and then you're stronger on the ground.
Okay. Great. And Louis, what is your background? How did you get into this?
I've been eating these foods.
Okay. Wow.
It's direct personal experience with the foods. That's what it is grounding the company. And, you eat them, you feel good, do some research. What is this? Wow, reishi mushroom. Been well known for 2,000 years. You look at all the paintings in Buddhism, there's a bunch of monks sitting on clouds. They're all smiling, they're all centered and grounded in the clouds, right?
Okay.
And in the middle of the painting, there's this little purple mushroom, and all the monks are pointing at it, and that's the reishi. And you're like, okay, there must be something to this.
Are they like shrooms? Will I get a little bit...
I don't know if we can talk about that on the air.
Okay.
No, there's nothing that's
Okay.
gonna...
And you
Gotta
have
be
100.
anything
You have
like that.
100 locations just in California.
That's correct. You can find us in over 100 health food stores just between, San Luis Obispo and San Diego, and we're growing very quickly. So,
For you.
So people could go into places like GNC or even into Trader Joe's?
well, we've been sticking to the independent, the organic, the homegrown, local friends.
We're in Culver City.
Culver City, Rainbow Acres was the first major store in
Wow.
Los Angeles to take it on, and it's great. They love it. places like Mother's Market in Orange County, Herbie's down the street from...
And Malibu.
Oh, yeah, Malibu, the Vitamin Barn, and Air One, which is in Calabasas, just up the hill from Malibu.
Did you show at the Natural Products Food Show at Anaheim? Or
we were walking around at Expo. It was really
Great.
fun to be there. Yeah.
Good.
And when we come back, we're going to ask him about his movies because he's got interesting tastes. We'll be right back to some movie reviews and more on Adrenaline Radio. Interesting. All right, we're back for the last session of Movie Reviews and More. And talk about your experience of going to Warner Brothers last
Oh, my
week.
goodness. Well, thanks to Brian having to have another meeting, I got to step in and I got to interview Mike Tyson. And I come from a boxing father who literally wanted boys. And so he always had me boxing and doing dips when I would go visit him in Chicago and things like that. So, and when I became an NFL cheerleader, my dad's like, oh, thank God I've got a kid in the NFL. And now it's like everything I've done in my life, nothing compares to meeting Mike Tyson. My dad's like now proud of me. So I think the most touching moment for me, my mom is a retired art teacher, and now on the side she does face painting at events.
Yeah.
And the most requested tattoo for all little boys is the Mike Tyson tattoo. And she sent me a picture, and I thought if I can get Mike aside for a second, just to show him this picture, I want to give him, just to show him what an impact he has on kids today still. And we were walking out, and he put his hand on my lower back, and I said, Mike, I just have to show you something. And I showed him a picture, and he literally grabbed the phone out of my hand, and he just had put his right hand on his heart, and he said, oh my God, these little boys want to be like me. He said, I just can't believe this. And it was such a touching moment. I thought if I could have just recorded this for my mom's website for her, for her business. And it was just, I thought he was wonderful. And everyone has to make comments about him. And like when I posted on Facebook, of course there was like a battle of things like that. But
But he's actually a nice guy.
He's
What people
such a nice guy.
don't understand.
Yes.
You see a ring persona. That's not him so much anymore.
No, none of us. Absolutely. We all grow. And he even said, somebody had asked him, in your career, he said, I spent the first half of my career fucking it up. I'm spending the second half of my career cleaning it up. And I just thought he was very down to earth, and he's funny, and he's extremely intelligent. He self-deprecates to the point of how smart he is, because just coming up with this stuff, and he's hilarious, and he's great at improv. And that was one of the questions I asked him, because everybody else had belonged to the Groundlings on the new show he's on, Adventures of Mike Tyson, and I think he'd be great at improv. I mean, he's fast.
People like him. They think he's funny.
Absolutely, he's
What
hilarious.
else you been doing?
Oh, let's see.
Because you do everything.
I do everything. I just got back from another golf tournament in Miami, which was amazing, super hot. Going to Las Vegas next week for another golf tournament. It's the Hyundai Invitational, so I get, but that's during the Hollywood Film Festival. But hopefully I can come back for one of the last days anyway. Gosh, I just shot Conan last week. That was amazing. I got to one of the fans corrected him that somebody couldn't stuff $40,000 into a bra, and Conan always challenges fans to say a mistake that they made on the show. So we reenacted that, and I was able to stuff $40,000 into Conan's bra at a strip club. So that was really fun.
God.
It was really, really fun. So
did you get a share of the $40,000?
I did. It was all fake money. No. But I got some good after residuals from that. Looking forward to that. No, but he's so fun to work with. He's super fast. When we did the pre-tape, all the writers were right there, and it's interesting how they write all the sketches and then cut, and then he makes comments, and we shoot it pretty quickly. So just
and you also been doing things for Showbiz Report.
Showbiz Report, exactly. That. Thank you. I feature a story every week, and Debbie, I'd love to feature you next week if that's okay. Just get your website and Twitter. It's fascinating.
Well, I thought about that, but I don't know about Debbie, but she would be perfect though. It all depends.
I love strong women. I'm such a women hear me roar type of girl, but anyway, just love women on your side especially.
Well, let me ask you, how do you deal with your traveling? Because that's the one thing I can't figure about you. How do you constantly travel every weekend?
You're all over the place.
All over the place, which I actually love. But I just I need some of Lewis's stuff, because I'm on a Z-Pack right now. Just a 6-hour trip to Miami. I'm sitting next to 4 people from Dubai who are sick, and then the guy to my right's from Australia. He's sick, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get sick. And I'm taking my 2 sleep aid, quote unquote, from the 99-cent store, which is actually better than half the stuff out there. But I just no sleep, and then you're on different time zones and trying to get everything done. But we're all Type A people. We want to cover it all. So I need more sleep, and that's the problem. But yeah, I want to be like Brian. And he just texts me, "Oh, just go see a movie." No,
That's
I'm like
right.
hacking up lungs. I'm like, I'm not gonna get sick. And of course, I'm like dying.
Well, now that you mentioned being on planes with people from here, there that are sick, and now with the Ebola virus floating around
Scary.
and whatnot. Lewis, with your product, what can she take from Sun Potion that will help boost her immune system to help her combat all of these diseases in contained, environments that she's exposed to?
Yeah, there's two answers to that. So one is my instinct tells me the ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic Indian herb. It's been around for centuries. They treat it like it's the cornerstone of their medical principles as far as, on one hand, treatment, and on the other hand, prevention.
Okay.
Builds the immune system. The other side of it, of course, is almost any of them would really work for you, and your lifestyle is going to be unique, and things that you want and things that you need are going to be unique, and you could potentially, what we recommend people to do is walk into the store, they see the nice display, there's anywhere from 15 to 25 different jars there, and you just pick one. Whether it's intuitively you look and you're like, that one looks good, or you read them all and they have nice information.
But they all look the same. I mean, they all are similar. Nothing.
At the first look, yeah, it's the same logo. You have the size,
colors,
which is roughly the same.
Font.
The difference there is the name of the herb.
Okay.
So each one is titled the name of the herb.
Do you alphabetize in your displays?
Some stores have it organized in certain ways, and it's kind of fun.
That doesn't drive you crazy?
Oh no, I mean, I'm here to be flexible and have fun.
Wow.
So it's fun to see
whatever you're taking, I need.
Talk about your love of movies, because you were talking about some interesting movies.
I was raised by a movie fanatic. My father is so fun to just almost every night we would watch 2 to 3 movies.
Wow.
And he grew up in the 80s, so it was all about Blade Runner and all the Robert De Niro flicks and
Lost Boys.
Oh my
Goonies.
gosh, so fun. And I was thinking about it because I've evolved since then in what I watch at home.
Wait a minute, you're 22.
Right.
How have you evolved
Well,
already?
I went away to school and I did a whole bunch of stuff and watched a bunch of silly movies late at night, and then I got serious again and and what do I like these days? I mean, you mentioned Funny Face earlier. That's one of my favorite movies. Grease, the songs get stuck in my head constantly.
You have a very eclectic movie palette.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, we watched No Country for Old Men the other day, and that's
what you
one
were
of
just
my
talking
favorites.
about,
It's it keeps you interested. There's no soundtrack, which for me is who does that?
Would you
And
go
it
see
works
Annabelle?
so
Are you
well.
a horror fan?
Horror is something that I like. When I was very young, my parents, they played the original Changeling, and they were my
so
dad has a habit for I'll go to bed, and we were just sit there and watch the whole movie, and he'd be like, you're still up.
Well, Brian knows this. One of the very first movies that I ever saw, I was between 4 and 5, and my father showed me the 1925 Silent of Nosferatu.
Ooh, yep.
So
That face is still scary, no matter the fingernails, everything.
But the face really reminds me of my family members, and so we all know what I think of some of them. But
Anne, what are you watching these days when you get a chance?
Oh, when I get a chance, Annabelle. That's what I will be seeing for sure. I need to go see more movies, and you're actually influencing me to do that. I watch a lot of documentaries. Top Chef is my favorite thing to watch on TV. It actually relaxes me, but I need, as an actor, obviously, I need to watch more. But so thank you. Nosferatu. I've never heard of that.
Oh, and there's a 1979 Werner Herzog remake of it that is superb, that just got re-released. It had a limited release in the theater. It's on DVD.
Okay.
The 1925 Max Schreck version, you can find that. I think YouTube may even have, because the copyright is long expired, so it's in the public domain.
It's one of the scariest images you will see.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just freaky looking.
It's
Wonderful.
the coolest
So,
thing in the world.
You can imagine watching it back in the 20s. They must have
Yes.
been not sleeping for days.
Okay, speaking of image, I've never seen Rosemary's Baby in the face from the 70s version of it. They weren't they? They're no longer allowed to show the face, correct?
They didn't show the face.
Oh, they never did. So can we see any clips where they actually do?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's fascinating to me.
Right.
Can it be that bad?
Nothing can be that bad.
Right.
But,
what scares you is what you don't
it's
see.
what you don't
True,
see.
true,
That's
true.
one of the great things. That's the sign of a great horror film, a great thriller, great murder mystery. It's what you don't see, because the imagination is so powerful. Unfortunately, with so many films today, because of social media and everybody throwing everything in the world out there, people are losing their sense of imagination. I think I just posted something the other week on Facebook, a study that was done, The Guardian released it out of England, about how kids are losing their imagination because of
They're
social
losing their
media.
minds, too.
Also, can't make eye contact or shake hands anymore.
That's it.
Yeah.
So this is a whole big problem, and I think one way to try and solve that or help alleviate it is for everything not to be so much out there, which also happens to be another movie that just opened, Men, Women, and Children, with Jennifer Garner, Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And all about the kids and social media and parents monitoring and how far do you go, and it opens up a lot of discussion that plays into this idea of people
Protection
not
laws
having an imagination anymore.
And talking about social media, give you a website.
Oh yeah, sunpotion.com. That's sun, S-U-N, potion, like the thing that you mix. It's pretty fun.
And what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter is
At Sun Potion.
Sun Potion Foods, although I would
Okay, yes,
check
it is.
Instagram.
It is. I actually just added
Because you guys are bigger on Instagram.
Yeah, we
you
have
said.
a
Explain
strong
that.
Instagram following.
great. And what is that on
would be
Instagram?
Sun Potion, at Sun Potion, and hashtag Sun Potion will get you there. Either one.
Great.
And that's a great one. And go into your local health food store, and we'll probably be there if you're in Southern California. And if not, ask for us, because the trend has been growth. It's really fun. Everybody gets back to me that it feels good. They weren't expecting it, and it totally changed their lives.
Now, can people out of the area, can they order online?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you'll
Yes.
ship anywhere?
As far as I know.
Okay, great.
And
there's
talk
an
about
address.
your Twitter, because you're heavily. You got. It's interesting how many your fans, let's call them fans, will
loosely.
constantly retweet and retweet. 2 weeks later, they're still retweeting. That is fascinating to me.
And I didn't even know that. So
I didn't know that
appreciate
until I started
you doing
seeing that from
Thank
you.
you. Well, my Twitter account is at Anne McDaniels, ANNEMCDANIELS. No relation to Run DMC. Everyone thinks we're cousins. No, and I had somebody pull me aside and say, you have to be tweeting 20 times a day. It just seems so narcissistic, but I try to at least once a day. So, I at least try to hit everybody else. Talk about you, and talk about you today. I was looking forward to that,
Right.
working with that, and just being grateful. I don't like to sit there and brag, but I know we have to. We have to.
And it's unfortunate.
And Debbie,
Yeah.
you got to give your site.
Oh.
Because you're out there doing it too.
MovieSharkDoubleur.com. Very shortly, we'll also have EliasEntertainmentNetwork.com up. And then all around the world, you can find me in various places online, in print, on Examiner, locally. I'm in print, Culver City Observer, British Weekly, which is international, Santa Monica Observer, back east. I'm all over the.
Good for you.
I'm all
Where
over
are you
the
based
place.
here in Culver City?
I'm based here in Culver City.
Okay, great.
Based here in Culver City.
And we're going into reward season, as I call it, which
Ah.
is great. We got nothing but good movies. Well,
Hopefully.
good movies. All good movies coming out.
But, and talking about good movies, next week we're going to have with us a friend of mine, Trevor Byerly, who just went on a journey to make his first documentary following the death of his mother for a disease that is genetic.
What is the disease?
I will let Trevor talk about all of that next week. He's going to be here in studio. He did a Kickstarter campaign on his own, got the movie made, traveled around the country talking to medical experts, and got into his very first film festival, which is Laughlin, which will be the week after. So the film will have its world premiere.
him.
And I got to give a shout out to my directing partner, David Spaltro, who just started shooting another film today,
right. Yep.
In the Dark. And then David will be talking with us from New York in 2 weeks about our film, The Cat's Cradle, that will have its world premiere in
good.
Minneapolis.
Oh,
You gonna
yay,
go?
Minneapolis.
I'm not going to Minneapolis. I will be here.
Okay.
Showing at the Walker Arts
You don't want
Center,
to go
or-
and freeze. That's why.
Oh,
Ah.
it's perfect right now. Perfect weather in Minneapolis.
All right.
Go Vikings.
Go Eagles.
For Louis D'Angelo, Anne McDaniels, Debbie Lynn Elias, this is Brian Sebastian, moviereviewsnmore.com, Movie Reviews and More, Twitter. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Brian.
It's been fun.